Have you ever thought about how a god, a divine figure, could completely change? I'm not just talking about its name, but its entire purpose, its story, even its gender. Well, we're about to dive into one of the most incredible transformations in all of religious history. So let's start here. This is Mithra, also known as Mer, an ancient Iranian deity, a radiant being tied to the sun, to truth, justice, and cosmic harmony. And what's really important to know right from the start is that this original figure was often seen as female, or at the very least, gender fluid.
Okay, now look at this. This is also Mithra, but this is the Roman version, Mithras, a super masculine warrior god, almost always shown killing a cosmic bull inside these secret underground temples. I mean, talk about a rebrand. We went from a guardian of light in contracts to a symbol of military brotherhood and cosmic battle.
So that's the big question, right? How does a radiant deity of justice turn into a bull-slaying god for soldiers? How in the world did this one being change so completely? That's the puzzle we're going to solve together.
To get to the bottom of this, we've got to go way back to the beginning, to the deity's origins on the ancient Iranian plateau. We need to understand the radiant foundations of Mer.
And what's so cool is that the name itself gives us a huge clue. The old Iranian word Mithra literally means contract or covenant. So this deity's name is basically its job description, to be the divine force that makes sure promises are kept and that truth and social order hold up.
And that job was huge. It wasn't just about sunlight. We're talking about moral light, the power that upholds the social contract, that keeps the seasons in balance and maintains the order of the entire cosmos. This was a deity woven right into the fabric of society and nature itself.
And Mer wasn't some lone wolf figure either. She was part of a sacred triad. You had Ahura Mazda, the main creator god, Anahita, the goddess of fertility and water, and right there alongside them, Mithra/Mer, the essential force of sunlight and binding agreements, a fundamental pillar of their whole universe.
Okay, now we get to one of the most mind-blowing parts of this whole story, the deity's gender. And this wasn't some simple, straight line, oh no. It was this complex journey from goddess to god, and then, in this fascinating twist, kind of back again.
This timeline really lays it all out. In ancient Iran, the evidence points to a female or fluid deity. Then, when the idea travels to Vedic India, it becomes masculine. Then, boom, in the Roman Empire, the transformation is complete. You get the hypermasculine Mithras. But then, and this is wild, Sasanian Persia intentionally re-androgenized the figure. It was like a conscious effort to reclaim its original Iranian identity.
Let's really zoom in on that Roman transformation, because it is by far the most radical reinvention. This is the moment a deity of public contracts becomes a secretive warrior god, a total favorite of the Roman legions.
And this side-by-side just makes the shift so clear. The public guardian of justice and truth becomes a private god for soldiers. The ideal of cosmic harmony and balance gets replaced with a story of cosmic struggle. This is literally what happens when a military empire reshapes a god in its own image.
Now, this Roman version of Mithras was around at the exact same time as another faith that was starting to bubble up, early Christianity. And this leads to some really fascinating questions. Now, this isn't about one copying the other. It's more like two faiths growing up in the same crowded ancient world, drawing from the same well of powerful symbols.
And some of the parallels are pretty striking. Mithras was called Deus Sol Invictus, the Unconquered Sun. Jesus, of course, is called the Light of the World. The birth of Mithras was celebrated on December 25th, marking the rebirth of the sun after the darkest day of the year. It's no coincidence that Christianity later chose that same powerful date to tie its own savior to this potent symbol of returning light.
And it goes deeper into rituals and even structures. Mithraism had a sacred shared meal for unity. Christianity has its Eucharist. And Christianity's Holy Trinity appeared in a world that was already very familiar with divine triads, just like that Iranian one we saw earlier. Again, not direct copies, but just fascinating examples of shared cultural DNA. So what do we do with all this? After this incredible journey across thousands of years and multiple empires, what's the big takeaway? Why does this ancient shape-shifting story still matter to us today?
I think there are 4 really crucial lessons here. 1, mythology's alive. It's fluid, not set in stone. Gods change because the people who worship them change. 2, the gender of a god often tells you a lot about the power structures in that society. 3. This whole story just shows the incredible global reach of Iranian heritage. And 4. It proves that light is one of humanity's most powerful and lasting metaphors for truth, for justice, and for new beginnings.
When you get right down to it, this single figure's journey connects continents, empires, and thousands of years of history. It proves that Mithras, this being is so much more than just a figure from an ancient religion. It's a testament to how interconnected our human imagination really is.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If a myth this ancient, this foundational, can be so incredibly fluid, which of our own core stories, the ones we think of as absolute and unchanging today, might one day transform in ways we can't even begin to imagine?